Alright, topic 2. Not as deep thinking life-wise, but, so we talk about video games quite a bit on this podcast. I'm going to bring them up again. I don't know how to word this exactly, but I want to talk about, like, games you've put a lot of time into, whether you meant to put a lot of time into them, or they kind of snuck up on you, and you just poured a lot of hours into. And, like, hours that you weren't like counting by, like, oh, well, there was an hour, or it was just like, oh, I put a lot of time into this game. There was never a thought of like, whatever it was, because recently I've been playing Minecraft again. I've been playing, originally it was with the guys. I was playing with Billy, John, and Dio. It was something we could play together on stream for the squad nights. I was like, sure. Played that, and then we ended stream that first night, and then I played for like 3 more hours afterwards. And there's just nights I'm realizing myself, like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I'll put videos on YouTube or whatever, put the headphones in, and then just zone out to that. Whether it's digging, or I'm building up, like, oh, let's do this thing, or let's go exploring. And, like, there's been a couple nights, like I said, where I've been putting hours in. And Minecraft, quite a simple game. You know, I mean, obviously there's still a lot I don't understand about it. But each time I've gone into it, I've fallen into this hole. Like, years ago, Charlie and I found it for the first time, and I remember you telling us, like, what, you guys are just doing this, and like, you can dye those sheep. What? Blew my mind.
Well, I got in on like the alpha. That's why, because like somebody told me about that. I was in college. So that had to have been like 2008, 9, 10, or 11. I don't but I was way ahead. Because you were more console, right? Like,
yeah, we started at 360.
I mean, I only paid like $7 for it, so. But.
Yeah, but playing it again now, like I said, I'm spending the hours into it, but I'm also still learning so much shit about it. Like, I guess it's just for the next gen consoles. Obviously, I don't know anything about PC, but the map you start with, little square. 360 days, I'm like, oh, this is all I have, running around. So, dumbass me, I took my map, I went around and found everything, and then I just went a direction. I'm like, I wonder where the end of the world is. I just kept walking. I'm like, what the fuck? The map's ended for a while, and then somebody told me literally the other night in chat, they're like, you know, you can make a new map. I'm like, what? You have maps on? Like, ah! So I tested it, made a new map. I'm like, fuck! There's so much shit.
I remember before maps. I remember when, like, maps got introduced. You know what? Okay, little side thing. I think they're still waiting on it, but I remember, like, the first or second Halloween, they were gonna make, like, carryable torches, like a lantern. But they didn't, and the thing we got instead was like a jack-o'-lantern. Did they ever actually make like a lantern, like a light source you can carry?
I know in mods there are, because I watched Achievement Hunter recently. They had a mod on where it was like hyper realistic type thing, and somebody was carrying a torch in their hand. Like, oh shit, it's got light. But I don't think
in the actual game. I mean,
that would be nice.
So long ago too, but yeah. Anyway, I would say for me with games, I spend a lot of time into. I'd probably have to divide it into 2 categories, either by age, like stuff when I was a kid, because it was like a lot easier to then, right? But I can remember like dumping a lot of time into certain games when I was a kid, and then now that I don't have basically unlimited free time to do that, so I would say like as a kid, I remember spending so much time on Super Metroid. I don't know if I ever beat it as a child. I just liked exploring it, and like there was no, it didn't tell you what the story was really at the beginning. It's kind of dumped you in, and you just kind of went around and explored, and that was crazy to me. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, when I was a kid, I dumped a ton of that. Final Fantasy IX, which I would say would be similar to Super Mario RPG in that those like RPG games I was able to spend a lot more time on, because like you're a kid, you don't like min-max stuff, you don't like understand the systems as well. You still like can beat the game, but like, and you it's a little more of a struggle, and like the story, I still think Final Fantasy IX is the best one, mostly nostalgia, and it's fun. Final Fantasy games aren't like about fun; they're like super serious now.
Yeah.
This weird Sega CD game, which I think was also like a DOS game, or maybe just one of those games, Willy Beamish.
Okay.
It's super. If you ever look it up, the art style is super unique and super weird. It's a point and click adventure game. I don't know that I ever like made it past like maybe the third like chapter or whatever, but like the world was just so weirdly engrossing for me. Like I still remember because the very first thing you do is you're in like detention because your frog horny like stole the principal's toupee. He like slipped out of your pocket, like took his toupee. Mr. Frick, his name was Mr. Frick. There's a lot of like weird, also like adult-ish humor. It's kind of like a Rocko's Modern Life style humor where it's like cartoony, but it makes like fart jokes, but then it also makes like really adult jokes. So you don't really know who it's meant for. And then you're in detention, and you have to like sneak out, and there's multiple ways of getting out. Yeah. So I would say those. I think. Then a little older. I guess I'm still a kid, although I had more like work because I was high school. When Morrowind came out, that was probably the first crazy game where I just dumped a ton of time. Like I built a new computer for it. Played that game when I would come home. I would just go and play that game all night for a long time. I could still probably, like, if I had a desktop, you could probably run that on a laptop now. To be honest, whatever. If I had a computer, if I booted that game up, I know I could just sit and play that game forever. Because I mean, like I did that a little bit with Skyrim and Oblivion, but Morrowind was head and shoulders above them in my opinion in terms of just craziness for the time, especially. I think it came out in 2003 or 4, 13, 4. Like there was nothing like that when that happened. Now though, I think the last game where I dumped a ton of time in college, Dota 2. Dumped a ton of time into Dota 2 in like one semester, maybe 2 semesters. I dumped like 500 hours. Just like nuts. No real reason. I don't know, just enjoyed it, but kind of not into MOBAs anymore. I think very recently, what I've been playing, I've been playing PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, but I wouldn't say that. I play like 1 or 2 games a night, if that. Before that, what was I playing? The UFC games, a little bit. I mean, mostly like those two in terms of sports, but I feel like the other games I buy, like the Spider-Man I bought recently, but that's like a very linear, like it ends. You can't really.
Yeah, I one of mine was saying I was gonna say Batman Arkham City because I remember like hyping myself up for that, and then as soon as I got it, like I think that was the first game I beat in like that 2 to 3 day period where I just played it so much I was like, wait, it's done. So, I mean that's not that's it's a fine answer.
More isn't all okay. There was a game that came out because I love tactical RPGs. Like I love Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, but they remade Tactics Ogre for the PSP as Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together. And that game is such a crazy, in-depth, like tactical RPG game. And I dumped so many hours into that and like only scratched the surface. And I like loved the class system, loved like everything about it. And I remember dumping a ton of hours because I was trying to make it to the point towards the end of the game where you could make a lich, because like liches are one of my favorite like horror whatever things because they're unliving, they're not undead. There's like a whole they're in a weird thing. So I like liches and the idea of them, but it took so much work to do, and it was so deep in, I just never made it. Also, as a kid, I spent a ton of time in Age of Empires. That game was also very addicting.
Yeah. I think as a kid, like, I can't do it now. Well, I could, but I don't know. Like grinding kind of thing, like Pokemon Silver version, like that was always the go-to. I mean, yeah, it had the portability aspect to it, so that helped. But hey, we're getting in the car, okay. Playing that, and then even just watching TV or having that on and then playing it, doing that for hours on end. And then like thinking back about it, because you were talking about like the tactical RPGs and then Age of Empires, like Warcraft 2 and 3, mainly 3, but like played that quite a bit. I mean, and to think about it, it was literally the same thing over and over again. Okay, let's put some CPUs in. All right, let's build a giant thing, and then let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, like as a kid, like I don't know if it was patience or not really caring, but like I don't think I could do that now. Like how many times can I run a CPU match? Like an example I can think of is this guy at 5. Like it's a cool game. I'm very invested in it, but sitting there grinding, I'm like, I'm literally doing the same thing.
Yeah, this guy games though are notorious that they are grind fests. Like, that's the thing. So like, if you don't enjoy grinding, you're gonna hate them. But at the same time, I think they do their best to make the grinding okay. Right? Like I think they have grinding systems. So like,
I don't know. It might be one of those things where I don't understand it because I was literally just playing the same map over and over and over again. So like I don't know. I remember like in Pokemon that wasn't a big deal. Like let's fight this Rattata for the 800th time, whatever.
Well, learning about IVs and EVs, like effort values and stuff in Pokemon, like ruined it. I just was like, I can't.
I didn't even care. I remember.
Yeah, well, as a kid I didn't, but like later on when I was like trying to play it a little bit more, as like a young adult with people, and I learned about that, I was like, I'm not doing this. This is too much. Like no.
Like when X and Y came out, like that was a resurgence because everybody was picking it up. But yeah, I remember hearing them like, what? I don't care. I'm just gonna play the fucking game. Because like I want to try. I've purchased them, but I haven't put a lot of time into them. I got Sun, and then there was another. Oh, I bought Soul Silver. It was like, hey, remaster. I haven't put barely any time into either. I started and I'm like, meh.
It's one of those things you either gotta dump the time into or you're just not going to at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'll know pretty quickly. I liked X and Y.
Yeah,
because they were Parisian. That city was based around Paris, and that was kind of cool. It was like a weird fashion-y thing.
Yeah, I loved Y. I played the shit out of Y, and it was also it helped like it seemed like it was like I said, it seemed like a resurgence. Like Ruby and Sapphire or Ruby, I played a shit ton too. Diamond and Pearl I didn't touch because I didn't have a DS. Black and White didn't play until later. Same with Black and White too. But like X and Y, yeah, it seemed like oh my god.
So I did play. I think it was Black and White a lot, only because there was a mode in that where it was like Battle Factory or something like that. Like the area you would go where it had all the different co-op modes, the little like building. There was one mode in that, and they haven't brought it in any other game. It might have been Black and White, or it might have been Heart Gold Soul Silver. I forget which game had this. Where you would go, and it would give you like a random selection of Pokemon. So like if you did solo, I think you would pick 3 out of like the 8 that they let you, or 6 that they let you. That were random, just Pokemon, and you had to go through a series of like trainer battles with those random Pokemon. And I was doing co-op with my friend who had the game. Like we were like local wireless co-op. And then when you do that, you would each get 2 from a selection. I had the greatest Pokemon experience. I still remember exactly what happened doing one fight because we had like a great team. We were doing really well. We were in like the last battle on this like ladder or whatever it was, and we were up against Altaria. I think it's like the Cloud Pokemon, and a Doug Trio, right? And I remember like I was weak to flying and he was weak to ground or something. So we were like, we're fucked.
Yeah. And
what pissed me off though, and this is irrational because even if it was flipped, it wouldn't matter. Was first Altaria used Earthquake, and I was like, what? I was like, you're a coon. So I was like, okay, that's what we like barely survived. And then Doug Shearer used Fly, and I was like, what? What? It was like Fly, or it was like Air Cutter, or it was something absolutely ridiculous. It was a flying type move, and I was like, what? Why? Like if you each use the other, you'd have stabbed. You'd have the same type of attack bonus. Like what? But the fact that it was just like, I remember because it was just like the second after like the Doug Shearer used an air like a flying type move. I was like, you've got to be shitting. Like Altaria Earthquake, I was like, okay, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I can put my brain into some world where it knows something that can make an earthquake. And I was like, it doesn't even have arms.
The dirt mound
Yeah.
flying.
It's kind of like, well, it's one of my favorite things, like Dunsparce. It's like the sandworm little
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, it can use all the elemental punches. It doesn't have hands or
Yep.
arms. But it can use all the elemental punches, whatever. Yeah. Pokemon games are good for dumping time into if you can get in that space. But
Yeah.
I'll wait a little bit when it comes out, but when the like full Switch one comes out, I
The
will.
Let's Go one.
No, not the Let's Go. They're
Oh,
doing
the
like
next one.
an actual entry. You know what I mean? Like a real full one. When that comes out, I might give Pokemon another try, but it's just I don't have the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with, like, I've talked to you about the Switch, like, why I haven't gotten one. The portability aspect seems like the big draw, and, like, obviously as a kid, you can't drive anywhere. Parents are doing this, so, like, that would be the time to play. Now it's like, well, if I'm driving anywhere, I'm the one driving, and otherwise, here I am. And yeah, the Switch is a console, but still, it's like, that's why I think it's been a tough time playing Pokemon, is like, alright, get the handheld out, and then, and I mean, it's no different than looking at a TV, but I don't know, it's that weird.
Well, I'm like, when I'm doing consuming media, I'm a big multitasker, so like, I'll have, unless it's like a movie, like, I'll just have like Portlandia or some random show, like a comedy or something, on, because like, if I'm playing a Switch game, handheld, I just don't want to just sit there with the handheld and doing nothing else. I need like background noise.
Yeah,
so
I
it'd
get
be
that.
like that. So that it's good for like that, but I mean it has a lot of good games. It has a good library right now. It's not the best, but I mean like Zelda's good, obviously Mario's good. But there's other portable. Why am I blanking on it? Stardew Valley is really good. I dumped a lot of time into that when it first came out on PC. That was a game I did dump a lot of time into. That was fun. But that's because I dumped a lot of time into Harvest Moon 64 when I was a kid. Harvest Moon games, they're good. You can just burn through like a year in that, and a couple hours have gone by, and you're just taking care of your pigs and your. It's too bad that the genre sort of evolved into like a shitty Facebook game, mobile game thing. Farmville.
Yeah. Farmville. Good times.
I don't get those invites anymore, though. I don't get the notifications on Facebook.
Well,
that was a
yeah.
bad time in social media when, like, every day you get,
Hey,
like,
I need corn or whatever.
oh my God. Although that's what SimCity's become, too. There's, like, the
has
SimCity
it?
mobile, yeah.
I was never good at SimCity. Man, I sucked at that.
I
I liked laying everything out, but oh boy, we were in the red fast.
I did enjoy, like, I think it was 2000. I played a lot.
There's another game I kind of spent a lot of time into, Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
Tycoon games are good.
Yeah, there's one, once I get my setup all upgraded that I'd love to play, it's Planet Coaster. It's the people who made Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I don't know what happened, but they all were like, and they did that, and like, the amount of creativity in that is freaking insane, and you can like 3D model your own stuff and import it. I'm like,
seen it.
hello, yeah. So, like, I don't know, playing it how creative I would be, but like just knowing that I'd have that ability and freedom was like, yeah, that's cool.
I know if I had a PC right now, especially like one that could really handle it, I would, like, the game I would dump time into would be is it City Skylines? Is that what it's called? The really good
It's on console.
city planner. Yeah, but I feel like with the controller it'd be weird. I think the mouse and keyboard I feel like is the way to go for those. And
Fair enough.
like the mod community's massive for that. Like that game looks. I've watched long YouTube videos just looking at other people's stuff and like what they're doing. I'm like, that's just watching them do it is fun. Like I want to make a city. But it's like I'm not buying the garbage Maxis Sim City that they're trying to push. Like, get that out of here. I don't want always online. No. No. It's what SimCity always wanted to. It's what people who like SimCity always wanted from a game.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about like things spanning generations is like you grew up with this, now you're making that again, but like with all your fresh takes and ideas of like, man, we're hardcore whatever fans, and then make it into something cool or whatever. I've heard it said somewhere else like no one knows the lore better than the fans of that media. And
Yeah. Yep.
so it's cool seeing that.
Unless you're a Harry Potter fan, because then J.K. Rowling just knows everything that she's always that hasn't even been made yet. She's just coming out with new stuff on. I guess Twitter is the new.
Yeah, that thing, that book came out like 20 years ago. Yeah, now this is this. What?
Yeah, I guess then you're always just looking at Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that's it. I think it was just that big Minecraft thing. Like, I'm just noticing, like, oh boy.
Oh, I put hours into Minecraft in college. I definitely did, but then it's the point, and it's like, I could still, but it's just
I think it's like you mentioned, that multitasking thing. Because, like,
Yeah.
I notice 90% of the time, if I'm playing something, there's something else going on. Like, that's why, sadly, I haven't finished Spider-Man yet. Because I'm like, I know I gotta pay attention to this. And not that it's bad and I don't want to pay attention to it. It just feels weird. Like, only Spider-Man.
Are you right at like the same point I am? Because I haven't finished it either. I'm like
I'm at the same spot I left off at. So I did the first Miles walk around, MJ in the military base. I did that. Nobody's broken out of the raft yet. I got the Taskmaster mission. I don't know, somewhere in that spot.
I'm right at the end of the main story. Like, I'm right at. I'm in the middle of fighting the different members of the Sinister Six, and I'm right at that like precipice of the edge of like the game is over, and I'm just like, I know there's like a stretch that I'll have to be down for. Like,
Yeah.
if I boot the game up, I'm down for like an hour or two, and it's like, don't have it in me tonight. This is what happens each night.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's like I said, it's not that I don't want to play those games or pay attention. It's just like, I don't know. I like kind of playing games that I can zone out to, like Minecraft. Don't want to pay attention to. NBA, kind of don't really have to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Put a ball in a hoop. You know, I don't have to listen to commentary. Wrestling just came out. Don't have to pay attention to that. You know, these kind of experiences, I'm just like, yep, let's go. Overwatch, another one too. I know you hate it, but Fortnite, like, don't have to pay attention. So.
Did you get the new WWE 2K?
I did.
Do you like it better or worse than Fire Pro?
Not
a fair comparison.
Saying I've only put a little bit of time into Fire Pro. I don't know. I think like Fire Pro is intriguing in itself, but I think it's the customization thing that really takes the cake. And like, I can't imagine sitting there and being like, all right, let's put on the 50th arm piece or whatever. Like, I don't know. And then I haven't looked at any of the controls or anything still.
I just can't imagine 2K's story comes anywhere near the like
the text.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Like, that's so it's such, I don't even know how to describe it. It's such what it is. It's so unapologetically whatever it is that like I love it. It's just like when like someone's angry, their little 2D sprites just like shake and they're like
Yeah.
And there's no animation. It's just they're this.
The still
and then
image,
this.
yeah. The poses.
Yeah. Oh, and the cheesiness. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, the 2K, like, it was more like, I get them every year. I see a lot of people shitting online, and, you know, some of it is fair, some of it's like, what? Like, this model looks like pot. I'm like, what do you mean? It looks great. No, that's like just something where, that's not like a time pump like we've been talking about. That's just like, you know, a couple matches here and there. I'm hoping that my career is better this year. It seems like they actually put a lot of work into it. Everybody's voice acted and stuff. So as long as I'm not fighting the same asshole 10 weeks in a row, I'll give it a shot.
Can't be worse than NBA's my career, because
Oh,
those stories are always
I could not get through the prelude fast enough. I was like, ah.
Well, who's your sidekick this year? Is there a sidekick?
Yeah,
Is it
it's
Be Fresh?
It's the Falcon. It's Anthony Mackie as like a agent that you're trying to impress.
I thought you
and
meant
then
his
and
name's the Falcon.
no.
It's actually the Falcon.
It's the and then there's two other assholes. So okay, there's one
You
guy.
gotta click.
Kinda. So it's weird because the backstory of your character is like the draft came, you never got drafted, then you ship over to Japan or China, wherever, somewhere over there, and you're in that league. And then your buddy, who you were on a teammate in college, made it, and he's on the Lakers, and you're like trying to, I don't know, the character you're playing, to me, came off like mad desperate and like trying to like inch his way in. I didn't like him at first. He grew on me at the end because they kind of had like a redemption story. So anyways, there's that guy who made it, and he's trying to like, you'll make it, you gotta work and not be so selfish kind of thing. And then there's another guy, because after you do decent in the China League or wherever it is, you go to a G League, and you go to like Kentucky or some other middle and nowhere, sorry pie, state, and you got some cool homies there. Like there's some vet that's there and some other younger guys, but then there's this guy Marcus something, but he's a buckwad, and he just literally like, he's like, I'm the best, and I'm gonna step on you and do whatever. But he literally, you find an agent to do your social media. Then that guy stabs you in the back, and it's actually Marcus' social media agent. He's been recording all these things with you, and then he makes this fake video that says you're shitting on everybody. It's like, what? Just let me play ball!
I mean, this sounds more interesting than the previous stories with, like, Be Fresh and... who was the sidekick the year before that? Oh, my God. Like 3 years ago, they had a good sidekick. It was like
Michael B. Jordan was in one of them.
Not that dude. Not that dude. The year before that. The year before
I didn't play a Michael B. Jordan.
God, what was oh my God, it's the NBA 2K.
I don't know. I remember like, let's go back to like the 12s and 13s. Those were
13 was good. That's
we don't need all this. The Spike Lee joint that was like 3 cutscenes.
DJ. Oh my God, Frequency was one of the guys.
Yeah, Freak. Freak was the Spike Lee one. There's 3 cutscenes. That was it.
Yeah, that was weird. Who is this guy's name? I'm trying to think of his name. He was bald. Had like an arm tattoo. Wore a headband.
I don't know.
Oh my God, he was like kind of a dick, but not really. He was like your rival. He was that sidekick dude was okay. Be Fresh. And then the Mountain Dew ads all over, like the random. All the cutscenes in 2K18 were garbage. They were terrible. They were time wasters. You could skip them.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I was just sitting there like, this is too long.
Yeah.
I barely made it in 18s. 17 I did decent. It seemed like each year I was dropping off. Like 16 I played the shit out of. 17, 18 barely, and then this one I'm back into because finally all that's over. But
I'm sure the basketball's good too. I mean,
yeah,
it's the best basketball game you can buy. I bought Live last year for $5 when it was on like super sale on PSN store, and it wasn't worth the $5. That game was bad.
Yay.
I mean, I can't say I wasted $5, but I mean, I played it for 5 hours, maybe total. So I mean, $1 an hour, whatever.
Yeah, and I get under like people are upset about the VC thing in 2K. Like, I don't get it. I don't buy any of it. Like, I use what I earn. And then people say, like, oh, it's too big of a grind. Like, Big John, for example, said, like, I don't know, it feels like it's so much of a grind. I'm fighting against it. I'm like, personally, I haven't had a problem with it. If I miss a shot, I get it. I sucked. I did it bad. But, like, I'm still getting games every once in a while, where, 20, 10, getting double-doubles, things like that. Like, I'm making plays. Yeah, I'm not the greatest player out there. I'm still, like, a 68 average rating. But whatever. As long as I'm doing it and having fun, then,
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to just get money. I get it.
Yeah.
But, like, it is just take a long time if you do it the natural way to get up to being... You're not going to get naturally up to the 99 overall.
No.
Like, you can't do it. So.
Yeah. I don't know, but... yeah, I don't know. It's different, like you said. I like how you put it, as a kid and then as now, like what you can pump hours into, because it's definitely different.
I can think of a ton of games when I was a kid. Sonic the Hedgehog, ton of time into that game. I mean, I felt like I could spend a lot of time, especially games when you were a kid. A lot of time you would play, and if you lost, you'd like have to start over, like Sonic and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There wasn't so much like a save file, but just I remember a lot of games I would play like the beginning parts of over and over and over again. I would just like play it when I got home for a few hours, and then like not really accomplish a ton, and then the next day the same thing, kind of over and over again. It's fun though. I mean, they don't really make 2D platformers like that. Mega Man. Well,
11 just came out.
X and X2 were the ones I put time into. Those were really fun, and like I feel like the like the actual level designs were great with like the artwork and stuff.
Hmm.
Comics Zone.
Yeah.
The game was amazing. I only later in life did I ever actually make it past that jump at the end of like the first or second level.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that killed me. But I like loved the aesthetic of it and everything.
Yeah, that's
Such
a really
a unique
cool game.
I'm surprised that they've never revisited something like that.
Yeah. I don't know.